Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do Match Me Abroad Season 1, Episode 9. Why shouldn't I want the best? That's a great question. Um, if you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button, comment, all that stuff. It would mean a lot to me. So, for everyone returning, I got a new camera, so I'm still trying to figure that out. But I'm excited about it. I like it. It's nice. I got a great deal. uh, anyway, back on to Match Me Abroad. We're going to start with Michelle. We ended last week with her, and she was on a date with Michael. It was a baking date, and it did not seem to be going well at all, right? So she thinks he's nervous and kind of lacking the confidence that she would expect a doctor to have. And she's a little turned off at this point. And honestly, I think that Michael was turned off way before that, considering the comments he made about their conversation. But, the cake's in the oven. So they sit down, they have a shot, and, cheers. She asks him how they say cheers in Czech. I cannot remember what it was, but they do the cheers, and, she also said she had some wine, so they're feeling good. She starts asking him questions like, have you ever been tempted to date a patient? Or have you dated a patient? Either one. He says that he never did, but he can't say that he never thought about it. It's crossed his mind. He wonders, what that would be like, maybe. Or he has. So she keeps talking, and she says that she hates when people ask why are you single? And he says, he feels like women feel more pressure in that area because of their biology and stuff. And she's like, you got that right. And she said it's constantly happening to her, and mostly by other women. And, I never had a woman tell me, you're getting older, you need to settle down, or anything. And maybe that's because I have 3 kids, but I never experienced that. He says he's choosing to wait for the right moment to be with someone. He feels like it would be unexpected or like a chance happening. It's kind of a hopeless romantic type of feel, right? She says, she believes in lust at first sight, but not love at first sight. Because she needs to know someone and get the mental connection to be with someone. So then she's like, well, Katerina told me that Czech men like to be more traditional in relationships. And he says, well, he interprets that as it means the man works and the woman stays home, barefoot and pregnant and all that stuff, and cleaning and all of the things. Well, he said he believes it should be on both people. That's why he likes to learn to cook and bake and do things. And, the more they talk, the more he's dinging bells for her, and she's just loving it. It could be the wine or the shot, but she's starting to have a good time. It's music to her ears. She's practically salivating hearing this man's answers. So, I'm pretty sure she also can't wait to tell Katerina that she was wrong about Czech men. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think Katerina was probably right about the overall population of this place and how they like to live in relationships. So I don't think it'll matter. She just likes to be right. I feel like she has very bratty energy, and I also feel like she's very defiant, and that's why she made it a point to ask so she could tell her, "Told you so," later at some point. But like I said, the wine, the rum turned the night around. She was more focused on dating. She was more focused on the date than Michael was at first, but now they're starting to feel like the date got better from the beginning, and so did I. I thought it was going to crash and burn, roll down a hill on fire, or be like the scene in Tommy Boy when he's describing whatever it is with the cars on the desk and he lights it on fire. That's what I thought of this date last week. Now I think it's a good time. Thank God for rum. Am I right? So they both, they had a great first date. They want to see each other again. Later, she meets up with Katerina. And, she's pleasant. Michelle is pleasantly surprised that her date went so well with Michael. She's like, the date started off iffy, but after some drinks, and once the cake was in, they could sit and talk, and it seemed like they would be a good match. And she's hoping to, build chemistry, and she wants another date with him because she felt a spark, or she saw a spark in him. Katerina can't tell if Michelle is just being polite or if she's really into him. She thinks that Michelle doubts herself. But, come to find out, after the date, Michael sent Katerina a voicemail about how the date went, and she had Michelle listen to it. And I would be so nervous to hear a voicemail of someone talking about their date with me. I would just be a little nervous. But he said the date was amazing, and, he wants to have a second date. He said that she was lovely and warm-hearted and vibrant and a great woman. So he's very happy. Michelle was blushing. She was so flattered that he would say such nice things about her. She thinks they have the good building blocks to have some kind of friendship for sure. But she wants to see if they have the physical chemistry there. And Katerina is like, isn't that too fast for a second date? And, I gotta agree with her here. Whoever thought I would say that? But I'm sure there's other dates you're going to have as well, and you should focus more on getting to know the person, I would think. That's what, Tinder and things are for. And, this obviously hasn't worked for Michelle in the past, rushing in to see if they have physical chemistry. So, Katerina says, Americans are so fast, Europeans take their time. Michelle's like, look, I don't have a lot of time. I'm not sure how long she's over there in Prague, but Katerina's like, you need to get him naked. Mentally naked, emotionally naked. And again, she's right. She has great advice. Who knew? Like I said, I'm surprised because she's hitting all the nails on the head. And I like that she's calling her out on things. And, just because I feel like she's harsh with Harold, it seemed to have worked for him too. But we'll talk about that later. So, Katerina's like, how do you get him, emotionally and mentally naked? And she's like, take him out of his comfort zone. So, Katerina's going to plan their second date, which I also think is a good idea. She did set up Harold at that cool waste management factory. That was very him. So, I think it's going to work out. I mean, the date, I don't know how the date will go, but the setting up of the date will probably be a cool idea. And, Michelle's just going to see if she can get him to open up to her. And if not, it's just going to be on to the next guy. And for me, I felt like she kind of flipped, because a second ago she was worried about the physical, and now all of a sudden it's her goal to get this man to emotionally open up. So maybe it's both. She's probably confused. That's why she needs the guidance. Well, speaking of Harold, we're going to move on to him next. He's sitting there in his hotel room and he's just missing her. And he decides he's going to call her. And I believe this is, the next day after their date. So they video chat because he wants to make sure that this wonderful date he has wasn't just a dream. So, also, we find out she lives a few hours away. I don't know if we heard that before, but I didn't remember. But she lives a few hours away. She's taking the train back to her city today. He's sad he didn't get enough time to spend with her, get to know her, and whatnot. So, she had a great time, and she definitely wants to see him again. And she offers him to come with her to to do yoga with her. And he's like, I hope she doesn't bend me too much. I don't want to be a pretzel. I thought that was cute. I think it was supposed to be a joke, but he said it kind of how I say things, where it's monotone or very dry. I have a very dry sense of humor, or so I've been told. And yeah, I think that he was trying to make a joke. And it reminded me of myself. She's like, do you have clothes for yoga? And he's like, yeah, I have a couple stretchy brown things. That'll work for yoga. And, cool. He thinks it's going to be rough. He's never done yoga before. But a little pain and embarrassment is definitely worth seeing his lady love again. So he's excited. He shows up. She's excited to see him. She says yesterday was the best date. It was romantic. And now she wants to show him what she does in yoga class. She does yoga to relax. They start doing breathing exercises. And she brings him up and she has him up against the tree. And she's kind of rubbing his back. And she's, telling him to breathe. And he's talking too much. So she doesn't have a problem telling him stop talking, which I think he does appreciate. And I thought it was cute. I really want to do that now and have someone do that with me so I can relax. And he's excited and giddy because it's been a long time since a lady, professional or otherwise, has touched him in that way. Or anyway, he got some physical attention and he's happy. So they start doing yoga stretches and she's having fun. He says she's a yoga master and that she is the kind of take charge Czech woman he was looking for, because she's correcting him while he's doing his stretches and she's, you can do it. She's showing him more moves and, she's cheering him on even though he's struggling. And she's like, his flexibility could use some work, but there's people that are worse. I'm pretty sure she was talking about me personally. I'm not sure how flexible I am these days. Been a while since I had a stretch. So she's bending him and pushing him in all kinds of directions and positions. And, with the stretching and his current diet, he's feeling like, he's just going to poop all over himself, basically. He's trying to hold that in and impress her, and he's in pain and sweating. But he's willing to go through this to impress her because he's leaving in a few days. He's still wondering like where they stand, but he hasn't given up. I think they're doing great, and I think that she was concentrating on them having fun. She was laughing and smiling and enjoying herself. Um, and she wasn't like thinking too much about the business end of things, which is maybe why they're a good contrast for each other. So I think he's doing great. I don't think I've had someone put that amount of thought and effort into my feelings, which is crazy because he's autistic, and they're supposed to have a hard time with that, but maybe they have like better emotional intelligence when it comes to other people because they try so hard to connect in that way. I'm not sure, but I'm probably gonna find out eventually. So she's leaving to go home soon, and he's sad. They just have a short time together. It's a 2-hour train ride, and this week she works 12 hours every day. Her next day off is Monday. He asks if she's free, because he's free, She's his only plan now. And she's like, she's not sure, because after working all that time, she might need to clean her house and do stuff at home. So they plan on him coming to visit Tuesday, and they both agree. She's excited to show him her city, because it's a lot smaller than where they're at now. He asks, like, if he can meet her family, and she's like, yeah. And she's like, they're gonna be home, why not? And he just loves that she's open to him meeting her family right away. She's not the type to like hide someone from their family, which maybe people have done that to him a lot in the past. I'm not sure. I'm guessing so. I mean, people suck generally. Not you guys, of course. And she's like, no, it's not a problem. And this woman, she's just so wonderful that I wish I could date her. And I'm not even into women, but she's just such a light. She's such a happy, sweet person. She's like carefree. She explains herself so well. I'm a fan. And then she kind of says, her family doesn't speak English anyway. And then, so, since they don't speak English, his first question is, well, how do you say boyfriend in Czech? And I just love how he says the first thing that comes to his mind. It might get him in trouble a lot, but he's genuine. You don't have to guess what he's thinking about or worried about because he's going to say it. And he must have been thinking, I want to tell them I'm her boyfriend or something. Or how will I introduce myself? But she says, they only say friend. They just say, this is my friend. And he's like, oh, in America we have a plethora of titles. Friends with benefits. Baby daddy. Boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance. All this stuff. And so that he's just her friend, which is great. And she's excited for him to visit. They can talk more. She can learn more about him and see what will happen in the future. He's going to walk her. He asked her to walk her to the train station, and she's like, yes, of course. So they walk to the train station, and he just likes her more and more the more he spends time with her. And I think we all do. Maybe I'm the only one, but I think she's great. He's taking pictures with her, and, they're kissing a little. And this visit, he's saying in the interview part, the visit to her hometown is his last chance to make his feelings and intentions known. Hopefully they're on the same page, but he's thinking a grand gesture is the ticket. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it. I really think he needs to consult with Katerina before he goes about doing any grand gestures. And also about going to her hometown and getting some advice on how to handle that. Because grand gesture to me means like he's going to propose to her in front of her family or something. And I do think it's probably a little quick for that, especially when they haven't talked about any such things. So I really hope he has a nice meeting with Katerina about this, and I hope that she gives him some good guidance like she's been giving Michelle and is a little less harsh with him. But wouldn't it be crazy if Harold is the one who gets married and finds love out of all these people? I think so. I think that would be great. I mean, I hope they all find love, but this seems promising to me. Next, we get to catch up with Nathalie. She's sitting down. She's meeting Alejandro for a second date. You know, he has a lot of qualities she's looking for, and she wants to see where it could go. But instead of Alejandro, we see Juan walk in. She's a little confused. Juan tells her that Alejandro canceled. He just didn't feel the connection. And I bet it's because they talked about spirituality before they had sex. That's the deal breaker for him, right? And she's like, okay, yeah, I did feel different, like we were different in a lot of ways. After 2 minutes ago, you know, he had all these qualities. But the thing she pointed out was his spirituality is way more intense than it is for her. But she is surprised because she thought they were on the same page and she doesn't understand like what she's doing wrong. She said the Colombian men are so nice and respectful, and she's having a great time in Colombia, you know, even if she didn't find love. I think she's like kind of has her defenses up and she's acting to Juan like she isn't hurt, but she really is. And, you know, also it's fun for her not having her mom telling her what to do. She says when she goes back, she's going to go on dates, live her life without her mom's supervision. And he's like, you're going to have to talk to your mom. And she's like, no, I'll live my life in secret. And, you know, he's like, no, you need to enjoy your youth. You need to talk to her. And at this point, I was surprised that, like, she's done already. She only had 2 dates. And the first one shouldn't have even been a date. He was more of an escort to me. It felt like. I don't know what he was doing there. So Juan's like, you know, he wants her to go back, live her life, not her mom's. And he feels like she has changed and she's going to have better luck in the future. She's happy. She got a great experience aside from the dating. Which is why she went there. She loves Colombia and the culture, and she wants to stay and explore the country more and find herself and enjoy her life. So that felt like a ending point for her. Like I said, I was surprised it was only 2 dates, but I think there's only 2 episodes left of the show, if I'm correct. So I guess, you know, it makes sense because these people are only there a couple weeks, but to go over there and just have 2 dates, you know, next time just go on vacation, you'll probably have more dates. Next up, we're going to talk about Susan. She's going to meet Mauricio down at the hotel bar. She's excited that Juan finally came through. But also Mauricio, you know, doesn't speak English, so she's interested to see if there's chemistry there without Juan translating and all that stuff. She says she does speak Italian, so hopefully she can piece enough together to get by. Juan is pumped. He's excited. Susan finally made it to a second date. Mauricio has the qualities of both men she went on dates with before. You know, they're artistic, they're adventurous, and financially stable. But the difference is Mauricio and Susan both went through a divorce, so they have similar experiences. Mauricio says he was going to take Susan to an art gallery, but it's raining, so he brought art to her, and he hands her his sketchbook with his art in it, and it is beautiful. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna teach you to draw." And she's like, "No way." And I'm thinking, like, who wants to try to draw and follow that masterpiece of an art book you just showed her? But then he says, you know, he decided to go on a second date because she's an interesting girl, she's fun, he felt a connection, and he wants to get to know her more. I also did notice that they matched. They both had, like, white button-up shirts, so that was cute. And, you know, after he says that, he brings out the paper and the pencils, and he's showing her to draw some kind of, like, it looked like a sphere, but they didn't really pay attention to the drawing. And he's like, you know, people have shadows and light, and what's Susan's light? And she's like, you have great questions. Like, much better than, can you hold my GoPro? So, she said, like, her dad is her light, I think. I think she meant that because she started talking about her dad. And her relationship with her mom is difficult. They didn't get any deeper into it as to why. And then, you know, he asked to see a photo of them. She shows him one. And it's an old one of her and her brother as kids with her parents. And he starts asking her, you know, if her brother has kids and a wife, and he does, and, you know, he asks her why she doesn't. And she, in the interview portion, says that she couldn't have children, and, you know, her dog feels that void for her. But she doesn't normally have these conversations on second dates. But with him, it's easier. And then Mauricio mentions his daughter lives in New York. And wouldn't you know, Susan lives in New York. And Mauricio visits her once or twice a year. And Susan's ecstatic, overjoyed. And she's like, when you're there, text me. He's like, we go to museums. And she's like, yes, yes, yes. She's pumped. And he's like, you could be my guide. I bet she could guide him somewhere. She thinks Mauricio is finally what she's looking for. And Juan finally got into the lane that he should have been in all along. And, you know, Juan redeemed himself a little bit, but not too much. And, you know, he's keeping the picture they started drawing, so they can finish it next time they have a date. And that was real smooth. That's a good way to get someone to go on a second date with you. And, you know, this might be too soon, but who would have thought Susan would have ended up with such a great outcome? I was feeling bad for her because I didn't understand why Juan thought these guys from before were so great for her, because the dates were not fun. You know, and she was really trying. She's been a really good sport the whole time, and I think she's been open to at least trying. She didn't shut any of them dates down. The first one she left early, but who wouldn't have? Anyway, Susan and Mauricio, they're definitely going to meet again. He walks her to the elevator to see her off. I think he tried to kiss her and she dodged him. But, you know, she's happy and has hope that there is great, stable people for her in her age range. So she likes Mauricio. I don't feel she's putting all her eggs in that basket. But it was good. I'm so happy for her. There's nothing wrong with having some hope in life. Alright, last but not least, lovely Miss Stanica. This is her third time meeting up with Noradine, but this time she's meeting his whole family. She wishes it was just them meeting up to hang out, but here we are. They meet up and he's dressed really nice. He says he's wearing a traditional Moroccan outfit. She mentions that she wishes she would have worn a dress because she's bundled up in a lot of clothes for that Moroccan heat, I think. So they're in the car. He tells her, he didn't tell his mom about the gift, so his mom can be surprised. He's not going to ruin that and take that away from anybody. Nina finally pops in, to comment on this situation. And she isn't surprised that Noradine is taking Stanica to meet his family. It's the Arab way to do that. And it shows that he's not playing games and he's serious. So Stanica is saying she's excited and nervous. She's never met anyone's family. She's got like a big personality and a whole lot of energy. And she's worried it won't go over well in like a conservative traditional family. And she knows that if the mom especially, or the family doesn't like her, that could be a deal breaker. So they walk in, she meets the brother, the mom, a couple of cousins come out eventually. She gives the mom the fabric gift. The mom loves it. She points out that there's sparkle, that she made sure to give her sparkle because Stanica loves sparkle. And turns out the mama does too. The brother does say that it's a big step for Noradine to bring a woman home to meet his mom, that Noradine isn't generally a traditional guy, and he questions a lot of things in their heritage, so I don't know why he threw that chestnut in. He must be the more traditional brother. But we find out his older brother is also a tour guide, so he speaks English as well. So she has two people that could help her translate. They start talking about all the ladies' clothes in the room and how they're traditional, and Stanica wishes that she had one to wear. And his mom is so sweet, and she offers her one of hers. And Stanica is all over it. She's so excited. She's sweating. She's about to suffer heat stroke because she's wearing like jeans and a coat and a tight shirt. I don't know what she was wearing. So she says she can't get a read on everybody because they speak different languages. But the mom offering her a dress saved the day, not only because she was dying in the heat, but she felt accepted by the mom. And she feels so much cooler and relieved and better when she changed. And she looked good. I loved that color on her. And so they bring out like a big plate of food. I'm pretty sure that family style eating is a big common thing in Morocco. Or, that's what I heard. And they bring out some like skim milk. And she said she could smell it throughout the whole room. And she tried it, but she definitely didn't like it. And she could not hide it. And she hopes they're not offended. So we'll see some more of that next week. I think it gets a little worse with the milk. Hopefully she can navigate that well, because no way in hell would I be able to drink that. So I don't blame her. At least she tried. So anyway, that is all for Match Me Abroad this week. Thank you for sticking around this long. I appreciate it. If you did, don't forget to like it and subscribe and comment. I think I'm going to come back on here later with, well, I'll obviously have the before the 90 days video in the next couple days. And I'm going to start doing the other way again as soon as I get that all set up. But I think I'm going to hop back on here and do a little kind of story time about me taking my daughter to the eye doctor yesterday, because if you don't know, my daughter is level 3 autistic. Actually, I have twins that are both level 3 autistic. And my son Henry is also ADHD as well, on top of autistic. But I had to take her to the eye doctor, and it's been quite a long journey with her and that. And yesterday was a little rough. I don't have therapy for a while, so I think I'm going to make a video about at least the eye portion of what I had to deal with being a mom with an autistic child, trying to go to an appointment like that. Also, my twins were micro preemies, which are babies that were born under 2 pounds. So like I said, her eye journey has been a long way. So look out for that, because it's just something I want to get out there. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.